10 years ago, CM Punk left a wrestling profession, went on a podcast, and did a scorched earth take on why he left. He totally blistered his former employer. And then, 10 years later, CM Punk leaves another wrestling promotion, does a scorched earth interview on a podcast, and blisters his former employer. Let's talk about what we learned from this interview that CM Punk just had with Ariel Helwani. Now, to be fair, I don't think CM Punk went on the Ariel Helwani show to out of a sense of vindictiveness to AEW. He just went on, but he did say, all questions, I will answer them no matter what they are. So he probably knew it was going to happen, but it wasn't like 10 years ago. He definitely went on the Colt Cabana podcast to let his voice be heard and his thoughts be heard, and he wanted to hurt WWE back then. But this one, nah, I don't think he was like, I think CM Punk's in a really good place right now in his head, his heart, his soul, even though I don't think he believes in souls and stuff, but I do believe that he's in a good place, and I didn't feel there was any kind of venom and how he presented his stuff, but I do feel, I mean, he said some pretty harsh things, but at the same time, if it's true, it's true. All right, so let's learn some of the things. I got a notepad of what he said on this hour-and-a-half-ish interview with Ariel Helwani. Number one, day of Survivor Series is when CM Punk signed the contract. Because at the end of Survivor Series, CM Punk walked out, and that was the big, oh my god, surprise. After a 10-year absence, saying, I will never, I mean, I told you, he already did a blistering podcast just completely condemning WWE 10 years prior, and now here he is just showing up, like, look in my eyes, what do you see? Cult of personality. It was like amazing that he showed up, but it was that morning that he signed the contract. Think about that. I guess they started talking on the Monday prior. So there was Monday, then Thursday happened, which was Thanksgiving. So not a lot of business is probably happening the day of the day before. And then Sunday, you have Survivor Series, and he's signing pen to paper, name to paper, and showing up on that pay-per-view, changing the course of probably WrestleMania. I mean, everything. And CM Punk, he's a huge deal. Now, some of the casuals might not know exactly who CM Punk is. He doesn't have the name recognition of The Rock or even John Cena or Stone Cold, or maybe even The Undertaker. But CM Punk, for any wrestling fan, he's huge. He's a generational talent. I'm not even joking. Like, he's not like the greatest in the ring. I mean, he's good. He's very good in the ring. Better than John Cena, probably even. But on the mic, you can't touch the guy. He's probably top 5 on the mic, and he doesn't rely on catchphrases. Not saying I hate catchphrases, but if he has 2 minutes on the microphone, he's going to have 2 new minutes. It's not going to be like 1 minute plus the greatest hits of all of his catchphrases. So anyways, he signed on Sunday, and then he's like changing the course of everything. So that was kind of interesting. He said that AJ, his wife, is not returning. That's very unfortunate news. AJ, I loved AJ. I think she will never get the recognition she deserves for recreating confidence in what is it, like the women division? Because for a while it's just the divas and stuff, and no disrespect, there was a lot of hardworking women during the diva era, but it didn't sit right with me. It was more, I felt that was more or less just, how do I say it? I don't even know how to say it, but you guys will get what I'm saying. I feel that AJ brought credibility back to the women's division, and then, then Paige came in, and then there was all these things happening in NXT with Emma. Those are 3 people who will never get the recognition they fully deserve, because then you have the horsewomen of Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky, who 100% deserves all the credit also. They, But I just feel that I wish AJ, Paige, and Emma would get a lot of the shine that the four horsewomen will be getting. Because I think when history is written, it's always going to be about Charlotte and Becky and Sasha and Bayley, when I think AJ's the one that really started the whole process. Look at her pipe bomb, against the the Total Diva show in the ring. That was chef's kiss. And AJ's not coming back. I don't blame her. I'm a little surprised because I know she was a fangirl. She was a fangirl all her life. And I could see her wanting to do one last run, even if it's just to hang out with her husband, CM Punk. But that's unfortunate. Let's see. Another thing we got was CM Punk during his little sabbatical after the first brawl out. He went and visited Raw. I guess Bayley invited him, and you can see there's a real friendship. There's this one video out there. I don't think it's from the first video or the first time he visited, but I think it's after he re-signed after Survivor Series. Bayley and him, he's walking through, and Bayley says, "Oh, you got a sticker on your shirt," and it was because he just got a new hoodie, and it was one of those like hologram stickers. And CM Punk was like, "I just walked through a bunch of people and nobody told me. Only you, Bayley, told me." Bayley's like, "I got your back. I got your back." And you can see, because that's kind of like the thing. You ever go through the whole day, and then suddenly you look in the mirror and there's a booger hanging out, and you're like, nobody told me there was a booger in my nose, because nobody wanted to embarrass you. So nobody wanted to embarrass CM Punk, like, "Oh, you got a sticker on your shirt." But Bayley, a true friend will tell you there's a booger, because they want to save you the embarrassment. And yeah, a sticker's not comparable to a booger, but at the same time, they did make a joke about it, and that was kind of like they were alluding to, like CM Punk was like, "She's my only friend," and Bayley's like, "I got you, don't worry, I'll always tell you what's up." He said a lot of people in AEW felt betrayed that he went and visited WWE during that time, and I'm like, why? Why are you feeling betrayed? That's stupid. You guys are the first ones to say, "Oh, tribalism, don't be a tribe." And yet, when CM Punk goes and visits the enemy, WWE, you're getting all mad about it. He has a lot of friends, and I get it. The timing is a little, sus, because, he hasn't had anything to do with WWE for years and years and years, minus the F1 SmackDown show. I know I'm talking a lot of inside baseball here, but I'm assuming that a lot of you already kind of know some of these things. If you don't, ask the question. I'll answer it in the comments of what I'm talking about. Like, what are you talking about, the F1 SmackDown thing? Or what are you talking about, he went and visited? So anyways, a lot of people felt betrayed, and it's like, he had friends, okay? He had friends, and he, like I said, he was in a kind of a better place. He was trying to improve himself. So he was like, talking to The Miz. He was mending fences with The Miz, because he said some pretty bad things about The Miz. He said some pretty bad things, like, "Go get your blood money from Saudi Arabia." All right, so, he said some bad things. And they were mending fences. CM Punk was just there. All right, maybe it was kind of a, look what I can do, but it's also business. That was a smart business move. On many levels, him going to visit the WWE in his hometown of Chicago, he was invited. It was a smart business move, and it was a good burying the hatchet, good for your soul move as well. You're offended, AEW? Why are you offended? Why are you wrestlers offended that he went and visited the enemy if there's no tribalism? On top of the fact that you guys kind of ran him out with your EVPs, attacking them backstage. Anyways, I digress. He did say, he talked about there is an NDA in place, a non-disclosure. He's not allowed to talk about certain things that happened at the Brawl Out. So basically, there was this incident in AEW where he went on a microphone in front of a bunch of reporters, and he just started saying all these things about the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the EVPs, Hangman Kevin Page, Colt Cabana. Hangman Kevin Page. Is that his name, Kevin Page? No. Hangman. Whatever his name is. I don't even know his name. He said all these things, created a ruckus, and then he goes backstage, the Young Bucks and them, they kick open the door, and a fight ensues, and that's what got him to leave. He got suspended, and that's during that time is when he went into WWE and met everybody in Chicago, what I was just talking about. Anyways, it was alluded that maybe that's where he tore his tricep, but he didn't really say if it was in the ring or not, but he couldn't talk about it. So the fact that he couldn't talk about it made it seem like maybe it was a part of the incident, which is interesting. But he also said that his NDA, not in regards to anything he did wrong. So he made it seem like it was all, like, he didn't do anything wrong, but yet he's not allowed to talk about the whole incident. It's illegal stuff, so what are you going to do? Even though he said nothing's off limits, if it's legally binding, he can't talk about it. Interesting enough, that injury, though, he said he had to go and find his own doctor, do his own research, pay for it, all these things. When he was off during the time of his injury from Brawl Out, whether it was the match or the Brawl Out incident itself, he said he had to do all that stuff himself. This is a billionaire company, and nobody's helping him out. Nobody knows. It's just like, it's mind-boggling how amateurly ran AEW is. They don't have anything. I get it, they're a new company, but you don't have one guy, one girl, one secretary, one assistant that can help your main star who just is drawing $1 million gates to go get fixed from an injury that he suffered while on the clock, while in the building, you know, whether it was after hours or in the ring. And CM Punk says now, though, is night and day. He got another tricep injury at the Royal Rumble in WWE. Now that's where he's at. And he's like, those guys, it's like he'll be healed in half the time because he's not having to do the research. There's doctors, there's this. It's just so much professional. And he said that's one of the big differences, professionalism and amateurism of AEW. What else I got here? Hangman Page, the guy that started the whole thing, he said he went into business for himself. So 2 things has happened, and it's like kind of telling. He said 2 incidences. There was Hangman Page, and then there's also Jack Perry. Both of them came to an agreement. These are separate issues, though, so let's just talk about Hangman Page. He said him and Hangman Page, they practiced their promo. And then when they went out into the ring, Hangman Page went into business for himself and just started letting CM Punk have it. And this was right before their pay-per-view match, which led to the Brawl Out interview. And CM Punk was like, you know, trust was broken. When you're 2 wrestlers, trust has to be there. Because, you know, we get it. Wrestling is wrestling. And it's, but you have to trust the other person. You gotta trust that someone's gonna break your fall. Trust is everything to professional wrestlers, even if you don't like each other. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart didn't like each other, but they trusted each other. They knew they could rely on the other person to be professional in the ring and make some money. Well, CM Punk, when he went out there and Hangman Page just completely, you know, one minute he said, we're gonna do this, and then they get out in the ring, and then he's just changing the entire script, making CM Punk look like an idiot, and on unfounded accusations. CM Punk lost all trust, and so now he goes into the ring. He has the match, but like, it's like, is this guy going to go into business for himself while he's in the ring? And if that happens, like, you can't do that. You just can't do that. Whether you like or hate each other, you have to know that the other person is on the same page with you and just make that money. So when Hangman Page did that, it really, I understand that kind of frustration of betrayal. I really do understand why he was so mad, because that would not happen in a company like WWE. And again, AEW is a brand new company, but nothing's being done about it, all right? Tony Khan the problems are there, and Tony Khan isn't trying to fix any of the problems. Because then we fast forward to 7 months later when CM Punk is back. He has this altercation with Jack Perry, Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy wants to use glass in a thing, and they're on Collision. Tony Khan, instead of trying to tackle the problem head on and make the guys sit down and talk, he separates them to a soft brand split. Okay, all the people CM Punk hates on this side, Dynamite, and all the other people that like CM Punk on this side with Collision. Jack Perry happens to show up. He wants to use real glass. Everybody's telling him no. CM Punk, they beg CM Punk to go and talk to the guy. And CM Punk's like, he tries to stay out of it, but they're all begging. So CM Punk goes, hey man, we shouldn't do that. It's not worth it. We can do this. We can do that. The doctors are telling you no. Everybody's telling you no. And Jack Perry's like, okay, fine, no problem. And then a week or two later, at a giant pay-per-view, Jack Perry says, I used real glass, cry me a river. So now, CM Punk's like, Tony, do something. And Tony's like, what do you want me to do about it? He's like, be a boss. Be a boss. Why are these guys doing stuff like this? All right? No wonder CM Punk is getting more frustrated because the inmates are running the asylum. So when CM Punk gets back, he's like, I'm going to handle it then. CM Punk, he says, this is funny. He's like, I didn't throw any fists, but I did do a little bit of a choke. And Samoa Joe got him separated, and he was like, I quit. Tony, you're a clown. This is a clown show. And he quits and he leaves. And that's what I was talking about earlier. He's like, peace out. He was unhappy. He left. And it's just telling. He said, he didn't say that Tony Khan was a bad person. He said he's a bad businessman, and that's evident. All right, that is evident. He's like, they're more worried about 5-star matches than they are about making money. All right, and I get it. You do want to have good 5-star matches, but you don't have to sacrifice the business for that. I'm not just saying you got to everything's all about the dollar. Sometimes it's more important to give the people what they want, but at the same time, you do got to make $1. And was Warrior Hogan a 5-star match? We don't need 5-star matches. We need 5-star build-ups, 5-star stories, because that's where it's really at. Anyways, I mean, I love a good 5-star match, or a good match, I guess, because apparently I've never seen a 5-star match, because, I mean, Kurt Angle's never gave a 5-star match. None of the Hardys versus Edge and Christian Dudleys have been a 5-star match. No Bret Hart match I've seen, I guess, versus Roddy Piper. That's not a 5-star match. So, Steamboat Macho, that's not a 5-star match. So apparently I've never seen a 5-star match. But I've seen 5-star build-ups. I've seen 5-star stories. That's all that really matters, because that story going into the match, as long as the match isn't a total stinker, like maybe the Hogan Shawn Michaels match, to me that was a stinker, even though some people do like it. I didn't like that. But that's a whole other story. But you can have great matches that Hogan Rock, what was that? Probably, a 3-star at best? 2.5? Whew, I'll tell you what, one of my top 5 matches of all time. The atmosphere. Let's get some 5-star atmospheres. So, Punk is all about the business, and Tony Khan isn't. I do respect that Punk wasn't calling him an idiot or anything, but, well, I guess maybe he did. Maybe he did. But you know what? To be fair, Tony Khan, I think, is kind of an idiot, because he's letting the inmates definitely run the asylum. The dude has a chance, an opportunity here, okay? Stop playing Little League Wrestling. Stop playing Little League Wrestling. Play where the big boys are. Become the next WCW, okay? Because once you are bored with your wrestling promotion, Tony, and you sell it, if the infrastructure is not there, the company's going to die. And wrestling needs more than the WWE. All right. Sometimes a wrestler needs to go away for a while and come back, and in the meantime, they need a check. All right. It's okay to be number 2, but you got to be a respectable number 2, and try to be number 1. Definitely try to be number 1, because heck, that's where we got the Attitude Era, because of Eric Bischoff's 83 weeks. So just quit trying to be a friend. You're not even trying to be one of the boys like Dixie Carter was. You're just trying to be like a sugar daddy to these guys. So anyways, what else came out of this interview? He said he did talk to. I liked how we addressed the Vince McMahon situation. He met Vince once. Vince said, "Hey, we got to catch up. Welcome home." And then he said, "Well," and then something came up. I probably won't ever see that guy again. And he also said that he related it to the Benoit situation, where he was like, he never saw these type of things happening with Vince McMahon or even Benoit. He never saw any kind of indication that was there. But once the news came out, he thought about it. He's like, I could see that happening, which is unfortunate. And then he he kind of spoke on the fact that, you ruined your life, Vince, by ruining someone else's life, and now your legacy's tarnished, and they kind of just moved on. And I respect that. He didn't like go, oh, I knew it, or Vince McMahon's just a despicable person. No, he said, I never saw that, but I could see he had it in him, and then they just kind of moved on. And what are you gonna do? You kind of have to address it. It's just this ugly thing that Vince is a part of right now. And God, I wish it wasn't true, because I looked up. Like, Vince was a guy that I had much respect for, and it's just like, you ruined everything, dude. You ruined everything. Oh. Why did you have to? Back to the interview. The interview was pretty much, I've already kind of said everything. After the thing with Jack Perry, he went out and still had the match. He did it for the referee, for Joe, for the fans. Even though he was super mad, he let him have it. He's like, this is my last match, and he was there. He also, I guess, went backstage for a while. A security guard came up to him and said, nobody's kicking you out. Nobody's kicking you out. And CM Punk, would it make your life easier if I left? Yeah, kinda. And CM Punk left. I think it's weird, because these big instances seem to follow CM Punk, so you're kind of like instantly like, this is CM Punk's fault. This has to be. It's not a coincidence. This has to be CM Punk's fault, right? But the thing is it? Does it have to be CM Punk's fault? If you're somebody who stands up for yourself, right, and maybe a little rough around the edges on how you say things, or, might be quick to call you an idiot, maybe not as, because John Cena, okay, John Cena can stick up for himself. John Cena can call his own shots, right? But I see John Cena as a super polite, nice guy that kind of knows how to say things, right? His words are a little more polished. So maybe CM Punk, hey, he can call his own shots. He's earned that. And maybe he'll stick up for himself, but maybe it's not polished. And so then tempers Flair? I don't know. I just feel that CM Punk, from the interactions and from what he says and everything, he seems like, you do me good, I'll do you good. I will be super loyal to you if you're super loyal to me. But if you're not, I will burn your house down. And I don't see John Cena saying, I'm going to burn your house down if you screw me over. I see John Cena just saying, okay, well, you do you, I'm out. Can't see me anymore. But CM Punk, he's not just going to let, he's not exactly going to take the high road when you've pissed him off. And I don't know, why should he? What? You're allowed to do everything you want to, destroy the guy, and he's supposed to just be, the bigger person? I mean, yeah. I mean, if this was the movies, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be the bigger person. But at the end of the day, it's I don't know. Sometimes people piss me off, and I want to, spit in their face. I want to tell them how I feel. I want to tell them, really? You're going to do that to me after I've done everything for you? Come on. I really do feel that, yeah, CM Punk has been part of the problem in these situations, but I don't think that he's been, the whole problem. I don't even think he's been the majority of the problem. That first time he walked on WWE, there was a lot of things. There was probably a lot of things going wrong. And he had made enough money where he could say, you know what, I don't care. I'll say it. I'll voice it. And, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe he wasn't, totally right, but I don't think he was totally wrong. And same with this situation. And from everything we hear, Tony Khan, he doesn't run the place. Right? He just shows up and he tells the people, go have a match. Here's a paycheck. He avoids confrontation. And I can again see CM Punk just being just dumbfounded. He was told one thing, we're gonna make some money, we're gonna build a company, and then he sees something else. You ever work someplace and the lazy people are the ones who get the most praise? They're the ones they're getting paid high money, they're doing this, they're doing that, and here you are trying to work hard and all this stuff, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You guys are all getting paid. You guys, all this. I'm working hard. They're not. I care. They don't. You know what? I'd be mad too. I would be mad too. What's the worst? What's the real crime that CM Punk did? He said, don't use real glass because you'll hurt yourself. Give me a break. Anyways, so there was, I think that was a lot covered in that interview. It was a really good interview. I do, check it out, Ariel Helwani, CM Punk, but these are like the main things I got. I hope AJ Lee does return eventually because she was awesome. She really was awesome. But I'm glad CM Punk is here because he's awesome. He also said there's a lot of storylines waiting for him, which is awesome. Great. He said he was going to, so let me give he said one more thing. He said he was going to headline with Seth Rollins night one, which is unfortunate because that's part of basically his bucket list. But I do feel like a negative has been turned into a positive because now when he comes out of his injury, it has totally revitalized Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is a whole different character based on his hatred of CM Punk. And so now you got that feud there, and then he can go and shift it to Seth Rollins and then shift it to the heavyweight championship. There's so many things coming out. Hopefully he gets night one, night two next year at WrestleMania. And yeah, so please acknowledge my subscribe button. Tell me what you think about CM Punk, and I'll see you as soon as possible.